Top. H0 moins 1 minute.
And liquid hydrogen at minus 240 degrees. They boil off and need constant topping up. We are ready for liftoff. We're in the final 60 seconds. You are ready for liftoff. All you need to know is the ignition sequence. Briefly, here's what to watch for. It begins with the cryogenic arms. You can see them. They're the yellow bars on the top going into the upper stage. They will pull back at minus 5 seconds. That begins everything. At 0, there's a nice shot of the yellow bars there. They will retract. At 0, the DDO will call out allumage, which is ignition. But we don't lift off. The main engine is lit. But count to 7 for 7 seconds. The computers are checking the performance in that engine while it's burning on the pad. They do it twice.
À tous DDO, attention pour le décompte final.
We'll let you watch the countdown. We'll be back after liftoff.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, top. Allumage Vulcain. Allumage EAP, décollage. Tous les paramètres à bord sont normaux.
Beautiful, beautiful daytime shots, which we don't always get, of Ariane roaring off the pad into the sky over French Guiana. The DDO is saying all is nominal, all is okay. On board at 17:54 local time, and right on time, she took off, lifting off from the ground with Intelsat and Hylas 2. These shots are always impressive for the people at the observation posts around the site, which are always full up. I don't know if you saw it, minus 12 seconds, the computers gave the command to open the water deluge. They sent in 1,500 cubic meters of water, mainly to deaden the noise. Right now, Ariane weighs 775 tons.
Tous les paramètres à bord sont normaux.
And everything's normal. She's burning 5 tons of fuel every second, 2.5 tons in each booster, and the core stage is burning another 300 kilos per second. Ariane is following the program in the onboard computer, which gives all the orders, including stage separations. We'll soon start to see those. The vehicle equipment bay is the cockpit of the launcher, if you will, orchestrating all the flight commands, all the piloting orders, and all the equipment on board is doubled, which means there are backup systems for everything. We're in the first of 4 flight phases. The first 3 are powered, the last is not. We'll describe each in turn and in detail so you can follow Ariane as she heads across the Atlantic, where she'll separate the 2 satellites over both coasts of Africa. Right now, the first flight phase, the single Vulcan core engine and the 2 boosters are burning. The boosters will burn just over 2 minutes. They're the first to be extinguished, and you'll hear the DDO call that out. And that looks like the flame out of the boosters right there.
Séparation des étages, accélération à poudre.
And right on time, the DDO has called out separation. You see the 3 points of light, 2 boosters on each side, and the single point of light in the middle. That's the core stage that continues burning. The boosters fall 500 kilometers from the shore in a protected area. Before the boosters are empty of their fuel, the push diminishes, and this is what the onboard computer senses, a drop in acceleration, and decides to separate them, and they're separated 1 second later. Beautiful. We may even see the fairing separation on the screen. Take a look on the upper left. You have the cursor crawling up the line there. There are actually 2 lines. One is superimposed on the other. One is the nominal trajectory. One is the real-time trajectory. As long as they're one on top of another, we're right where we should be. And below that, 2 lines, A in some numbers and V in some numbers.
Séparation de la coiffe.
A is altitude and V is velocity, our speed. And we've just had separation of the fairing right on time. You can see what that looks like. There are 2 halves. The other half is out of camera range. They're blown away by a series of pyrotechnic cords. We don't need the fairing anymore. You can see Intelsat there, the blue box, exposed to the elements, because over 100 kilometers we're out of the Earth's atmosphere. And the fairing has done its job, which is to protect the satellites from frictions and vibrations. Again, on the left of the screen, the velocity, we're approaching 2.5 kilometers per second. The speed we need to inject a satellite is roughly somewhere around 9 kilometers per second, so watch for that. The Vulcan engine, it's a small box, roughly 50 meters square, weighs 250 kilos. That's burning now in the upper stage. More of the mission in a moment, but for now, the latest news from Ariane Space.
Successes continue for Ariane Space. On her last mission, July 5th, an Ariane 5 launched a telecom platform, EcoStar 17, and the MSG-3 weather satellite. It was the third launch of the year for Ariane.
Ariane Space signed with CNES to launch a small scientific satellite called Taranis, tool for analysis of radiation from lightning and sprites. Weighing 200 kilograms, it will study transitory light effects in the ionosphere and the magnetosphere.
With France's Minister for Research looking on, Ariane Space and Intelsat signed July 10th in Paris for launch of a new satellite, the 28th for the two companies whose partnership goes back 30 years.
Ariane Space was also present at the 39th COSPAR conference in Mysore, India in mid-July. COSPAR, the International Committee for Space Research, highlighted scientific programs for the study of the universe, of matter, of the Earth, and the environment.
Customers got a good look at Vega at the first Vega Users Day in Rome, July 9th. Ariane Space presented the new light launcher whose maiden mission fully qualified it. Ariane Space has already signed 4 contracts for Vega.
The next Soyuz launch, her third, is set for October here at the spaceport in French Guiana, and the campaign has already begun. Work is underway on the pre-launch checks on the frigate upper stage for the mission to orbit another 2 satellites in the Galileo constellation. And it's also been a very busy time at Baikonur. Ariane Space launched 3 Soyuz missions from the Kazakhstan base in 2 weeks on July 15th and 22nd, the 1789th and 90th Soyuz flights, the 5th and 6th of the year already. Then just yesterday, we launched the 1791st Soyuz, the 7th mission of 2010. The French Guiana site, chosen in 1964, provides a large opening on the ocean, low population density, and nearness to the equator. And we have a new director of the Guyana Space Center here. In our next film, his first interview. Bernard Chamoul now oversees facilities for the 3 launchers in the Ariane family. He has an important and many-sided role as head of the space base.
The CSG is currently operating 3 launch systems, Ariane, Soyuz, and Vega. My mission will be to make sure that launches take place at an ever-increasing rate and to help the Space Center gear up to cruising speed. All our energies are going to be focused on this single goal. Of course, we'll not lose sight of performance goals, availability and security both. We must ensure the same degree of safety and reliability for operations as well as launches while respecting the environment. Over and beyond this operational program, we must modernize the Space Center and get it ready for the future while striving to implement innovative systems.
The CSG has another role. For nearly 40 years, with its many industrial partners, it has been helping grow the local economy here in French Guiana across many sectors.
Our mission as a key partner of the economy of French Guiana is to promote and support economic development through targeted action programs and training and support activities, as well as investing in basic infrastructure.
In space and on the ground, the CSG remains Europe's spaceport. The best situated launch base in the world keeps Europe autonomous in space.
Thanks to French Guiana, CSG is providing Europe with independent access to space.
Ariane performing flawlessly up there. You can see on the left altitude and speed. We're climbing and gathering speed. The first stage is still burning. The second flight phase that we're in, another minute to go of fuel. She burns 9 minutes in all, 175 tons of fuel. We are about to be picked up by our first downrange tracking station over the border in Brazil, if we haven't already been, at a city called Natal, run by Brazil's Department of Defense for CNES in an agreement with the European Space Agency. It'll see the first stage burnout and separation. All of Ariane's trajectory has been designed to be followed from the ground, whether by land or by sea. The launcher is sending radar and telemetry back and a network of stations, 5 of them tonight, keep constant watch on the health of her vital systems. Their antennas are picking up the signal,
Séparation de l'étage principal.
following her progress. And we've just had, right on time, the separation of the lower stage. You see what that looks like.
Allumage de l'étage supérieur.
And ignition of the upper stage. These are 3 orders given by the onboard computer in about 30 seconds. Extinction of the lower stage, separation of the lower stage, and ignition of the top stage. You can see what's left of the composite. The first stage gone, we separate another 14,000 kilos of dry mass. We're in the 3rd and final powered flight phase, burning on a single engine like the first. Carries a lot less fuel. A lot less fuel, though. 12 tons of liquid oxygen, 2.5 tons of liquid hydrogen. It'll burn for 16 minutes. And we're being followed now, as you can see, by Ascension Island. That's our second downrange tracking station in the Atlantic. Tiny island in the south